Marcus is 29 years old. He has $6,400 in credit card debt. He has never missed a payment. He makes the minimum payment every single month, on time, every time. At his current rate, he will finish paying off that debt when he is 44 years old. He will pay $8,900 in interest on $6,400 he already spent. He will pay for the same purchase twice and then some, and the bank will call him a good customer the entire time. This is not a story about someone who was irresponsible. This is a story about a system that was designed to make the minimum payment feel responsible while ensuring you never actually escape. Here is the number. Americans currently carry $125 trillion in credit card debt. That is not a government deficit. That is not corporate debt. That is money owed by individuals, people with jobs, people who pay their bills, people who are doing exactly what they were told to do. And last year, the 5 largest credit card banks collected $120 billion in interest income from those people. The credit card is not a financial tool. It is a financial product designed to profit from the moment you cannot pay, and credit cards did not always work this way. When revolving credit became widely available in the 1970s, interest rates were capped by state usury laws, legal limits on how much a lender could charge. Most states capped interest at 12 to 18%. In 1978, the Supreme Court ruled in Marquette National Bank, v. First of Omaha, that a bank could charge the interest rate of the state where it was chartered, not the state where the borrower lived. What followed was a race to the bottom. Delaware and South Dakota eliminated their usury caps to attract bank headquarters. Within a decade, every major credit card issuer had moved their charter to one of those 2 states. The caps disappeared. Rates could go as high as the market would bear, and banks learned exactly how high that was. Today, the average credit card APR is 21%. The federal funds rate, the rate at which banks borrow money, is around 4.5%. The spread, the profit margin banks extract from your debt, is 12 to 13 percentage points above their own borrowing cost. That spread has doubled over the last 2 decades. You are not paying 21% because money is expensive. You are paying 21% because Congress allowed it, courts enabled it, and the industry spent over $500 million lobbying to keep it that way. A bill to cap credit card rates at 10% has bipartisan support. Trump, AOC, and Bernie Sanders have all backed versions of it. It has been sitting in committee since January 2020. Let me make this concrete. Marcus is 29. He works in IT support in a mid-sized city. He earns $54,000 a year. His credit card balance is $6,400, built up over 3 years of car repairs, a medical bill, and 1 month wear. His hours were cut and rent came due anyway. His minimum payment this month is $128. Of that $128, approximately $107 goes to interest. $21 comes off his principal balance. At this rate, $21 a month of actual progress. He will be 44 before the card is paid off, and he will have paid $8,900 in interest on a $6,400 balance. The bank does not want Marcus to pay off his balance. A customer who pays in full every month is called, inside the industry, a deadbeat. Not because they do anything wrong, but because they generate no interest income. The profitable customer is Marcus. The customer who pays just enough to stay current, just not enough to ever get free. Now consider what that same $6,400 would look like if the rate cap passed. At 10% APR instead of 21%, Marcus pays off the same balance in 4 years and pays $1,400 in interest instead of $8,900. The debt does not change, the balance does not change. Only the rate changes, and the difference is $7,500 that stays in Marcus's account instead of the bank's. Multiply that by 111 million Americans carrying a balance. That is why the bill. Here's why the credit card trap is so effective. It is designed to feel like help. When Marcus's car broke down, the credit card was there. When the medical bill arrived, the credit card was there. The credit card did not cause the emergency. It solved it and then quietly extended the cost of that emergency across the next 15 years. The minimum payment is the mechanism. Banks are legally required to tell you on your statement how long it will take to pay off your balance. making only minimum payments. That disclosure is printed in small text at the bottom. Most people do not read it. The ones who do often cannot afford to pay more. In 2026, 27 million Americans can only afford the minimum payment each month. Not because they are financially reckless, because 53% of people carrying a credit card balance are using it to cover essential expenses: food, utilities, rent, shortfalls, not discretionary spending. The credit card is filling the gap that wages have not, and while it fills that gap, it compounds the debt that makes the gap harder to close. This is not a trap that catches the irresponsible. It is a trap that catches the people who are one car repair away from falling behind, which, according to the Federal Reserve, is 37% of American adults. If no one has explained this to you before, subscribe, because this channel exists to show you exactly how these systems work and what that means for your financial life. 3 things you can do this week. First, read your statement's payoff disclosure. Every credit card statement is legally required to show you how long it takes to pay off your balance at minimum payments and how much you will pay in total. Find that number. Write it down somewhere visible. The system depends on you not looking at it. Second, calculate the avalanche. List every card you carry, ranked by interest rate highest to lowest. Pay the minimum on everything except the highest rate card. Put every extra dollar toward that one. When it is gone, roll that payment to the next. The avalanche method is not glamorous. It is the fastest mathematical way out of this system. Third, understand what you are actually doing when you carry a balance. You're not using the bank's money. You are renting the bank's permission to spend your own future income at a rate they set, with terms they wrote, in a state they chose specifically because it had no limits. Marcus is not in debt because he made bad decisions. He is in debt because he was handed a tool that was designed legally and deliberately to keep him in debt. The minimum payment is not the floor of what you owe. It is the ceiling of what they need you to